Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
From?
Sir, I am from Kadapa district of Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Where did you have education?
Sir, I did most of my schooling from Kadapa district itself. In 11th and 12th, I studied in Hyderabad, post which I did my BTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Delhi, sir. After that, I have worked in Daikin air conditioners in Japan for a brief period of time, and after that, I came back to India and started preparing for civil services exams.
This is first attempt?
No, sir, this is my 4th attempt, but this is my first interview, sir.
What are the subjects you preferred?
Sir, my optional subject is anthropology, sir, but my graduation subject is in mechanical engineering, sir.
So, mechanical engineering, you are the subject.
Yes, sir.
So you got that only in that age. Or did you opt for computer science or others?
Sir, I was having that option of opting for other departments, but I wantedly chose mechanical engineering because I was more passionate about that when I was in my 12th class. And that too, I opted specifically for IIT Delhi because at the time I heard from most of my seniors that mechanical engineering is very good in IIT Delhi. So that is one of the reasons why I opted for specifically that department and that college.
What is the position of our country in this engineering goods manufacturing or the technology? How do you rate it?
Yes, sir. So I feel the present position of India in manufacturing of these goods has improved when we compare with it how the position was post-independence, sir. But I think India is still very performing under its potential, very below par in that sense. So there is still a long way to go, and various steps taken by the government in this direction I think are helping it. For example, Startup India, Stand Up India, Make in India are some of the initiatives which I think will definitely help India in getting up on this in the sector, sir.
How are the exports? Do you feel like what is the growth with regard to engineering items?
Yes, sir. Sir, post our independence, we were importing most of our heavy machinery, sir. We had very little capacity in developing our own machinery. Even now, in most of the sectors, we export raw material and we import some of the finished goods. But recently, there has been a growth even in the heavy industry sector in India, and many machinery which we need are being manufactured in India itself. But still, we are majorly dependent on imports from other countries, sir. Like in automobiles also, various companies have established their plants in India, but most of them are foreign companies itself. Like we have many Korean companies, Japan companies, German companies working in India, sir.
To increase the technology, what do you suggest?
Yes, sir. I think two of the main steps which are required is, first is addressing the issue of brain drain which is happening in India. So many of the engineers from the so-called national institutes of importance, we are seeing they are migrating to Western countries or other developed economies instead of staying back in India. So I think we should address this issue of brain drain. Second is we should increase the government spending and other private sector spending in the research and development area, sir. So that is another issue because of poor research and development spending. So there are very few Indian focused research that is going on in these sectors, sir. So I think if we are able to address these two issues, then definitely the engineering segment of India will be much better than what it is today, sir.
Don't you think sometimes certain very valuable good ideas come even at the floor level from workers also? Instead of only engineers or
Yes.
some research organizations.
Yes, sir.
Is it that there is also very much possible? What is it?
Yes, sir. It is very.
Person who is working on the food,
Yes,
really,
yes, sir.
he may be able to work with ITI,
Yes,
whatever, otherwise also.
Sir, it is very much possible, and there are very beautiful examples of such innovations, sir. For example, I can recall of a individual who made sanitary pads from grassroots level because of his own innovation. So there are some government schemes that help in bringing up upon these grassroots innovations, sir. Government has recently brought up some of the steps where people with such innovative measures can approach any ITI, the local thing, and if so it feels that there is a potential for this, then there will be definitely chance for scaling it up. And also various private sector initiatives are also being taken from different companies where the investors are also looking for such grassroots innovations. So if the people get those grassroots innovators are given that awareness, that various platforms are available to bring up their innovation on a much larger scale, I think it will definitely help the country and humanity as a whole, sir.
Sir. Heard about this crop holiday in Andhra Pradesh? Sometime back there was a big news in the media relatively some years back.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Crop holiday. In Andhra Pradesh, there was a movement called crop holiday by farmers.
Sorry, sir, I am unaware of it, sir.
But recently, there was a government of India was announced farm laws and is taken back.
Yes.
Do you know about those? What is it about and why they have introduced and again why they have withdrawn?
Yes, sir. Government brought 3 farm bills, sir. So in a way, in order to completely reform the farming, how the marketing is happening in the agricultural sector, sir. So the main aim of the bills was to provide the farmers a open market system where they can go and sell their crop produce at whichever place they wish, not just the APMC mandis. So this is one of the main bill that was brought in this farm bill, sir. The other bills being reforming the Essential Commodities Act, and the third one is promoting the private participation in this cooperative farming sector, sir. So these bills were introduced by the government, but there was a agitation or resistance from some of the sections of the farmers, if not the entire farming population of India, sir. So I think even the crop holiday of Andhra Pradesh was in support of this farm resistance against this farm bill. So government then withdrew these bills because of the fierce resistance it was facing from the farmers of some specific areas of the country, sir. But if according to my limited analysis, I think the intention and the reforms that were being brought out from these bills were very novel, but maybe the manner in which they were introduced or the level of awareness that was generated at the grassroots level for the farmers or addressing their issues was some of the areas where government might have taken a bit more interest and addressed that.
What is the issue you have seen there, the manner of introducing it? You said manner of
Yes, sir.
introducing.
Yes, sir.
What went wrong there in introducing?
Yes, sir. Sir, because I feel farming in India is not just an economic activity, sir. It is more connected with our cultural roots, and it's an emotional issue also. So the farm bills, I feel, would have, if at all, they would have sent to some parliamentary committee or taken much more time in the deliberation stage itself, so that issues or grievances of various stakeholders would have been addressed very well, or at least their grievances would be heard in the floor of parliament. So if such measures would have taken, so then definitely the resistance which we have seen would have come down, sir.
Fine. So what is the final your solution to this agrarian issue has been there for quite
Yes, sir.
long, and the farmers are committing suicide, and some state governments are supporting them through
Yes,
the
sir.
different schemes, all that. So, but still people are committing suicides. That say, for example, take state of Telangana, this REDDY one they have been giving.
Yes, sir.
But we have seen here and there again news of farmers are committing suicide. So what could be the permanent solution for this farming community we can think of?
Sir, farming community problems are very diverse, sir. So I think the process has to be a long-term process. Firstly, the legislations that the government brought in were of very novel intention. So I feel that there is a need to convince the farmers and address their issues properly and bring such legislations again in the floor of parliament. And there is also very important necessity for the center and state governments to cooperate when it comes to the issues of farmers. Because of various issues raised by some of the state governments, this issue has become more of a cooperative federalism issue. So some of the state governments were against unilateral passage of these bills by the central government. So I feel bringing in a legislative mechanism which addresses grievances of all the stakeholders, though it may take some more time or a bit longer time than what is ideal, it will definitely help in addressing these issues which might occur post the passage of the bills. So this is one step definitely, and other step is promoting sustainable agriculture on a local level, not having a blanket legislation for the entire country. So using the local resources and agro-acclimatization of crops and promoting those varieties of crops which are suitable for that particular location will definitely help in addressing the grievances of farmers. For example, as you mentioned, the farmer suicides in Telangana is high. In the same way, there is also a farmer distress in my home district as well as the region of Rayalaseema. So that is because they are producing such crops which are water intensive in a relatively drought area. So these issues can be addressed by agro-acclimatization of crops and promoting sustainable agriculture.
So you are talking about some federalism, central state, right?
Yes, sir.
So how do you see the central state economic relationships in the recent past? Because the states claiming that the central is imposing access, special cess rather than the taxes, so that they can increase their share. And
Yes,
GST collections also, the central is taking larger share, and whatever it is collected, even it has not given timely to the states. So how do you see this state-central economic relationships in the recent times?
Yes, sir. In the recent times, because of some of the measures taken by the central government, this issue has been at the core between the state government and central government. So because of the implementation of GST, states are of the opinion that center has taken away their main source of revenue, which was mostly from various indirect taxes the states were getting, and also the central government is increasing cess on various items instead of directly increasing the tax, because at the end of the day the cess will not be shared with the state governments. So these are definitely some issues raised by state governments, and central government should look into these issues. And I also feel that there are various platforms where these can be resolved peacefully, sir. Like there is a GST council which should definitely address the issues of the GST and the state grievances, and finance commission also plays a huge role in addressing the issues of the state government and taking that to the center, and strengthening the regional councils of which are present in India right now will also be a good step in this direction, so that these issues can be deliberated and discussed and should be resolved peacefully instead of making it a political issue, sir.
Why petrol and alcohol has not been considered for the GST? Because many other goods many of the states are agreed.
Yes, sir.
So why did they not be part of this GST? If we include them into the GST, would really people would get benefited by that?
Yes, sir. So addressing the first part of the question, that why they were not included in the GST. So the GST law itself was made over a long period of time. So the idea was introduced in and around 2002, but it became a reality in the 2017. So it was a huge task to convince the states to give up their power of taxation, because GST in a way takes away the major resource of states' revenue. So the states were not very interested in giving up the revenue which they were getting from liquor sale, or for that matter petrol or diesel as well, sir. So the government at the time thought that it is better to have a GST with as much items as possible and exclude as minimum items as possible. So even now the petrol and other items like aviation fuel and some other items will be brought into GST when the government or GST council decides a date in the future, but not alcohol. So I think this is regarding the first question, sir. And the second question, that whether it would help in bringing down the prices or not. So I feel that I don't have much awareness of the issue and I can't comment upon that, sir. Whether it will help in bringing down the prices or not, it all depends upon the government's opinion, what tax they would be charging on the alcohol, if at all, if it is brought into the purview of GST, sir.
What is how many brackets? I mean, there are different categories of GST.
Yes, sir. Sir, broadly, there is a 0% tax bracket, there is 5% tax bracket, there is 12%, 18% and 28% bracket, sir. Apart from this, there are few other brackets like for especially the costly items like gold and diamonds, there is a 0.5% and one more bracket is there, sir, which I am not exactly aware of.
Recently, a game has become quite popular. People started posting it on their status and Twitter and all. Are you aware of it?
Sir, if you allow me, I can take a guess. I think it is Wordle, something of that kind, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you played it?
Sir, I haven't played it, but I have read about its rules and what exactly the game is, sir.
Can you tell me how it works? How the
Yes, sir. Sir, I think the game is based upon some application or some website where the main company or whatever it is gives a 5-letter word every day, some 5-letter English word. So the person who is playing the game is given 5 chances where he has to guess that word. So he will have 5 attempts.
5 or 6 chances?
Sir, I am not exactly aware of it. As far as I can remember, it is 5, sir. I have to look into it. So he will make a guess word. So if any letter matches with the letter which is there in the final word, so he will get some orange color or something. If the letter as well as the position of the letter also matches, then he will get some green color. So it is just a trial and error game, which also depends upon the awareness and knowledge of that person in English, the words which he can recollect, and also luck to a certain extent.
So recently, drug among youth, drugs,
Yes.
prohibited drugs. How do we address that problem? Youth largely they are getting addicted to these drugs, and especially ganja and all these are
Yes, sir.
very easily available. Given the fact that large quantities of like they
Yes,
are
sir.
scheduled to the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act,
Yes, sir.
which decriminalizes possession of the drugs to a certain level, low quantity,
Yes, sir.
not a large quantity. Given that recently there was a news that even 16 kgs of ganja was let go off. So, do you think it's good? And how do we address this problem?
Yes, sir. So I feel there should be a two-pronged strategy to address this problem, sir. One is from the supply side. So I think there should be more stringent regulation from the government side and the administration side to stop all the sources of the supply. But because of the increasing complexity of the market which is there, which includes the black market, buying of drugs from dark web, so it has become difficult. But I think government should come up with some novel measures and best practices from other states to stop the supply side of the issue, sir.
Why a lenient view is taken on ganja? These are the other drugs, other hard drugs. So
Yes, sir. Sir, I am not exactly aware of it, but if you allow me, I would like to take a guess, sir. Sir, I feel it is also used in the medicinal field to some extent in the limited quantities. So that is the main reason why.
In which field, in what sense it is used, for what purpose?
Sir, because being a psychotropic substance, I feel in some of the medicinal drugs, I am not exactly aware of the drugs in which it is used. It is definitely used in some of the drugs. That is the main reason why there is some lenient view on the usage of ganja, sir.
Opium is used more than ganja in manufacture of
Yes, sir.
medicinal drugs.
I am not very
So how do we address the problem?
Yes,
You
sir.
said supply side.
Yes, sir.
So among youth it has become very fancy to do drugs and all.
Yes,
Even
sir.
Celebrities are doing drugs
Yes, sir.
as per news reports.
Yes, sir. So on the supply side, that measures can be taken, sir. On the demand side, so I feel here some 2-3 steps are of high importance, sir. One is spreading awareness among the public, that is the youth, and also their families, because nowadays with the digital technology and the increasing usage of mobile phones or other digital devices, I feel there is a lowering in the people-to-people connection, especially within the family itself. So in most of the cases, parents are not very well aware of what their kid is doing, what is he doing online, what is he consuming, what is he not consuming. So spreading awareness even among the parents is of prime importance, and also with increasing mental health issues, where people are being many cases of depression and other mental health issues are coming up. So they are moving towards the easy solution of getting addicted to drugs, because it will they feel that it will give them some sort of relief for a temporary time period. So addressing the mental health issues from an administrative side, and spreading awareness among the families, among the youth, and having rehabilitation center for the existing drug addicts would help in reducing the supply demand side issue
Despite
of
all the efforts, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, especially the Naxal affected
Yes, sir.
areas, they seem to be producing a large amount of ganja now,
Yes,
which
sir.
is coming into even Andhra
Yes, sir.
and the other southern states and even going to the northern states.
Yes,
How
sir.
do we address that? Especially in the
Yes,
Naxal affected areas.
Yes, sir. So I feel the main reason why this Naxal affected area is being a major producer of drugs is the presence of Naxalism in that area. The Naxals, the so-called left-wing extremists, are using this as a revenue resource for sustaining themselves. So this has been also found in the state of Andhra Pradesh, where recently in the Aruku Valley region, a large area of this illegal producing of this was destroyed, crops were destroyed, and the governments are also coming up with some novel measures. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, they are talking to the tribals, they are interacting with the people at the grassroots level and giving them an alternative employment opportunity instead of depending upon this growing of psychotropic substances in their fields. So I think these measures, like addressing the economic issue at the grassroots level and understanding why they are producing the crops and what steps could be taken from the government side to stop them to move to these measures, would help in bringing down the production of the crops, sir.
What is the context in which this NDPS Act was enacted? Why suddenly in the 1980s the need to enact a law to control drugs had come into India?
Sir, I am exactly unaware of what the situation was, but I think it was more to do with the cross-border trafficking of drugs that was happening from the region of Punjab, from Pakistan to Punjab.
Hi Ramana, first question is, did you watch Bahubali movie?
Yes, sir, I watched it.
How do you relate Bahubali to your anthropology skills?
Sir,
Do you think those characters were all imaginary or really would have happened sometime back?
Sir, I felt that the story was more of a fictional type, but some of the character and the names which the director used were inspired from some people or some of the stories that were being told in the region. But on a whole, I feel the story completely is more of a fiction, not of any reality.
So do you think there is no anthropological evidence or anthropological relationship that exists?
Sir, I am not exactly aware of any such relations.
So tell me about, today we depend so much on Chinese
Yes, sir.
goods and services, right? So how do you control that? Is there a way to control that?
Yes, sir. In some of the sectors we can definitely control, and the government has taken steps in controlling our dependence on Chinese goods, sir. For example, when the government realized that Chinese is dumping a lot of its low quality goods at much more lesser price than what it is selling in its own country, we imposed duties on it, and we have ensured that they are not available to at so cheap rates which Chinese was doing. So this is one step government did. Another step is encouraging the consumption or usage of local products, like steps like vocal for local, or buying toys of indigenous varieties, not the low quality Chinese toys. These are some steps which government taken in the toy sector. In the same way, some of the steps in steel and other imports also, government has imposed duties so as to encourage the domestic production and consumption, sir. But definitely in some sectors we still depend on China. For example, active pharmaceutical ingredients is one area, semiconductor chips is one area, and import of solar panels. So in some of the sectors we currently don't have such capability to produce for the consumption which we require, sir. So in those areas definitely we have to depend on China, but in other areas we are taking steps in reducing our dependence on China, sir.
There is a general feeling in the country today that there is a systematic disintegration is going on in the PSUs.
Yes.
What do you call it?
Sir, I think in the present context, India's PSUs are going through a phase of transformation, sir. where they are becoming more competitive in nature. Government is pushing them to become more competitive rather than the usual business which they were doing till now. So government is trying to push those PSUs which are not able to generate profits into profit zone, and if the government is also doing some of privatization of some of the PSUs where it is feeling that it is better to leave those PSUs for the private sector. So I feel these are some of the steps in right direction, sir, because at the end of the day, if at all if government is doing business in any of the sector, it should both meet the goal of social welfare as well as the profitability of the business.
Since you have worked in Japan,
Yes, sir.
what is the major difference that you see between Japan and India in the manufacturing sector?
Yes, sir. According to some of the views of sociologists and as well as my limited knowledge, I feel Japan has been a traditionally industrialized country, sir. Like it started its economy when the Meiji Revolution has happened. It focused more on industry sector, but India traditionally has been an agriculture dominated country. So when we moved from agriculture to other sectors of the economy, so for us it was a gradual transformation, but for Japan it started itself with industry, majorly focusing on industry, sir. So I feel in that sense Japan economy or their culture itself is more derived from how an industrialized economy should be working. For example, I can quote one example, sir. Punctuality is rewarded very highly in Japan, sir, when it compared with in India. I am not saying that people in India are not punctual, but I definitely feel that people in Japan value punctuality very high. That is because by their very nature of being an industrialized economy, doing things at specific time interval as planned is much more important for an industrialized economy when compared with an agricultural economy where time is not of very high priority, sir.
So many of your classmates in the IIT
Yes,
must have started companies on their own, right?
Yes, sir.
They're startups.
Yes, sir.
Do you think the government of India is giving enough importance or push for the startup development?
Yes, sir. I feel government has been giving a lot of push, especially in the recent past 10 years. So there were novel initiatives launched by the government, like Startup India, where they are providing various financing opportunities as well as exposure to the early entrepreneurs to get exposed to other positive case studies, where success models, and also providing them platform to attract investors, especially the angel investors from various countries, not just within India, sir. Sir.
In cricket you are?
Sir, I am an all-rounder, sir.
If a bowler wants to reverse swing the ball, what is the technique that particularly should be followed?
Sir, to be very honest, I don't know the complete mechanism of swing, sir, because I am a spin bowler. So I am completely unaware of the reverse swing, how it works. I know the traditional swing to a certain extent, sir, but not the reverse swing. Sorry, I will look into it, sir.
What is Uniform Civil Code that is in use? Uniform Civil Code.
Yes, sir. So Article 44 of the Constitution provides for government to bring a uniform civil code, sir. It is a code which is common for all the religions, castes which are living in the country, sir. So it is one code which is uniform throughout the country. So where it brings everyone, every individual on a common platform when it comes to the aspects of their marriage and other social aspects, sir.
In India, can we say uniformity or uniform code is applied in criminal cases?
Sir, according to my limited knowledge, I feel there is a uniform code being applied in criminal cases.
Why Tamil Nadu is opposing national educational policy?
Yes, sir. So one of the prime issue why Tamil Nadu is opposing is on the language, three language formula which the central government is pushing forward, sir. Because people of government of Tamil Nadu traditionally has been very reluctant to provide Hindi education or Hindi language as a medium of instruction in schools of Tamil Nadu, sir. So that is one of the main issue why it is against the three language national new education policy of 2020, and it is also opposing the central government measures in the issue of NEET exam. That is also one more reason why why it is against the steps being taken by the central government.
Coming to your working experience, you have been to Japan. Right? What is the particular mechanism involved in AC to cool the particular area?
Yes, sir. So that traditional thermodynamics law say that a temperature, if the bodies are two different bodies are at two different temperature, so the heat will flow from the body of higher temperature to the lower temperature. But air conditioners is a device which reverses this process by using external energy, sir. So air conditioner basically cools a already cooled room or a room which is at lower temperature when compared to the surroundings by pumping in cooler refrigerant and blowing air through this refrigerant, so that the air within the air conditioned room will always remain cool compared with the outside temperature, sir.
What is that particular gas in the AC?
Sir, when I was working, there were two different refrigerants which were being used in the Daikin company, sir. For commercial and for domestic refrigeration, they used two different type of refrigerants. At the domestic level, they were using R12 refrigerant, while at the commercial refrigeration level, they were using R22 refrigerant, sir, which is a hydrochlorofluorocarbon, sir. I don't know the exact full composition of it, but they used to call it R12 and R22, sir.
So that means using AC is environment challenging, right?
Yes, sir. It also, because it consumes a lot of energy to cool down a room, so it is definitely energy intensive in that aspect. So it will also pose some challenges to the environment. Sir.
So you said something on Tamil Nadu, right? They are opposing
Yes, sir.
the language policy. But NEP is for vernacular languages. NEP in the policy itself, they advocate for vernacular teaching up to school level.
Yes, sir.
So how do you look at this contradiction?
Sir, NEP advocates vernacular language and it promotes using mother tongue as a medium of instruction till the class 5, sir. But it also mentions that there is a need to promote a 3-language formula throughout India. So that is the specific aspect which the Tamil Nadu government is against, the 3-language formula, but not the vernacular language.
So are they okay with the other proposals made in the
Sir, in my limited knowledge, I feel they don't have any other issues.
So you are a member of NSS at
Yes, sir.
ITD.
Yes,
so
sir.
what kind of activities you organized during your NSS programs?
Sir, I was part of some 3-4 different types of activities, sir, like organizing blood donation camps, teaching underprivileged kids in various orphanage homes, and I was also taken to Delhi Zoo, where I was given a chance to work with the stray dogs and other animals which were abandoned by the people.
So underprivileged students, you are teaching underprivileged
Yes, sir.
students in the local localities?
Yes, sir.
Munirka or Asankuch?
So I went to Munirka, sir, not Vasankuch.
So what is the problem with Munirka? Because we have IIT on one side and JNU on the other side. But Munirka is still having problems of, as you said, so many underprivileged students are there and IITians are going there and teaching them. So what is the actual challenge?
Sorry, sir, I am exactly unaware of that, but that was a question which also perplexed me when I was in my first year. But because of the language issue which I had, I though tried to speak with many other people, none of them had that understanding of why such a area had people from underprivileged kids, which is situated between two different institutes of national importance.
As administrator in a service, if you are posted there, so how do you actually look at this issue?
Sir, firstly, providing education for all the kids who are staying there, because when I was staying in Delhi and studying in the college, I have witnessed lot of kids going for begging in the daytime and helping their parents. So this is one issue which always impacted me. So as an administrator, I will definitely ensure that these kids are given education, as it's their fundamental right to be given education. And also I will talk to their parents, the people who are living there, and understand what their issue is and use all the available existing government schemes under which they can be served. For example, giving them ration cards, bringing them into the fold of PDS if they are not in the fold of PDS, and providing skill facilities to young population who are living there.
So this is a situation, we have a world-class institutions,
Yes, sir.
two world-class institutions. and a best school, government school within the Munarka, but still Munarka is having a problem. So address specifically to issue of education, educating underprivileged, as you
Yes,
said,
sir.
there are so many
Yes, sir.
underprivileged schools. So how do you address this issue?
Sir, like I was also given an opportunity in NSS. So NSS in IT Delhi frequently conducts classes for these kids, sir. So that is one of the good thing I think which I would also replicate in other areas where these such type of incidents are happening, because we already have the resource of people studying in good institutions like IITs and JNU, as you mentioned. So using them as a resource and providing education to the kids who are there on a regular basis in cyclical cycles will also help in addressing the issue of education there, sir.
You said interacting with people is your
Yes,
hobby, right? So your optional is anthropology.
Yes, sir.
So did you ever interacted with any of the tribe?
No, sir, I haven't got an opportunity to interact with the tribe at the grassroots level, but I have many friends who belong to scheduled tribe category, sir. I have interacted, but their economic situation is not what an individual think of as a typical tribe, sir. So I never got an opportunity to interact with people at very lower economic background, but definitely I have interacted with some of the scheduled tribe people, sir.
So do you name any two tribes
Yes, sir.
from Rayalaseema area?
Yes, sir. Chenchu tribe, who lives in Allamalla region of the state, sir, and Yerukala, Yanadi. These are also some of the tribes who live in my particular district, sir.
Your hospitality.
Yes, sir.
What do you think of hospitality?
Sir, I worked as hospitality coordinator in open house, sir. So that is a open exhibition of the developments or research that is being taken up in my college at the time. So various people from various backgrounds, right from the 5th class to people from 12th class till 12th class, and people from other institutions who are doing their BTech, MTech and post graduation will be coming, sir. So I worked as hospitality coordinator for the school section, sir. So I was basically given the duty of managing various schools which were coming to that particular event. I was providing them the accommodation facilities and their time slots and their passes and other things, so that the entire event will go in a smooth manner, sir.
Atithi Devo Bhava.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about that. From where it was taken?
Sir, can you repeat the last
Where it
question?
was taken?
Sorry, sir, I don't know the exact source where it was taken, but I don't know the exact Upanishad from where it was taken, sir. But it means that in our culture, we treat Atithi as equal to God. So we will deal with whatever needs and we will provide him whatever the Atithi wants, and we will look after his needs, just like as a God is visiting to our house.
India, regarding any this Afghanistan people or some, is following the same principle.
Sir, can you repeat the question again?
India
India.
is following same principle in recent times. Did you observe?
Yes, sir. India is following the same principle, sir. Atithi Devo Bhava. We can see that in many instances where the people at the grassroots level as well as the government also follows these same principle. But when it comes to some issue of national interest, in some cases will definitely overtake this Atithi Devo Bhava, because it also depends upon the specific issue which we are getting.
Where did it overtaken? Where did it fall?
Sir, for example, when the issue of Rohingya refugees or other illegal migrants was coming up, some of the people were quoting this statement of Atithi Devo Bhava, that India should treat them as guests and should give them a refugee status. So, but then definitely government took the stand of not giving them refugee status, and they were of the view that they are illegal migrants. So, because at that time in that particular issue the national interests were of more importance, but it doesn't mean that we are completely forgetting our culture, because we still respect our guests and we care for them, but it depends upon that specific case.
What is Chenaman bowling?
Yes, sir, Chinaman bowling, I have a little bit idea, sir, but I don't know the exact details, so I will look into it. Yes, sir. I'm a spinner, but I'm a traditional off spinner, sir.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು
So, I don't know the exact details, sir. I haven't read of it. It's a spin only, sir. It's a spin bowling only. Chinnaman bowling is a spin, but I'm not exactly aware of that. Yes, sir. Mankading is right now the official wording was changed by the ICC recently, sir. So traditionally, it is a way of running out a batsman by the bowler himself before the ball is bowled, because the non-striker, when he is out of the crease, even when before the ball was released, the bowler has the option of running him out. So that this was first done by a Indian player by the name Mankad. So that's how the name is derived, Mankading, sir.
Okay, sir. Yeah, Ramakanth,
Sir.
thank you. It was a wonderful presentation. I have one thing is, when I asked a question about the scrap quality and farms laws.
Yes, sir.
So you said the protest of the farm laws, the crop holiday was linked.
Yes, sir.
Then initially you said you are not aware.
Yes, sir.
But when you are talking about the farming laws, you brought this issue and tried to link,
Yes, sir.
which is incorrect.
Okay, sir.
This crop holiday happened much before
Okay,
than this farm laws.
sure, sir.
Okay, so that's the reason. Just don't try to, which you are not so confident, sure. Unnecessarily, you are talking right about the farm laws,
Yes, sir.
but not in the this
State
crop
one,
holiday,
yes, sir.
which was also got attention of. Afterwards, the Tamil Nadu farmers also protested.
Okay, sir.
Subsequently, this Punjab farmers who has led the recent farmers protest, right? So their sequence of resistance. My
Okay, sir.
suggestion is, whichever you are not so sure, don't, you are trying to connect them somewhere,
Yes, sir.
give the feel good, maybe in that way. But I think that you should take care of it.
Sure, sir.
The other is, you are answering very well and good, but I think little more, you are very serious, as if, we are fighting each other, or, you are asking me a question, or, I have to answer you. I think that little more in a pleasant way.
Okay, sir.
I think that you try to do that. Otherwise, I think content, by and large, I think you were covered to a great extent. Yeah. On
Sure.
my side is that.
బాడీ లాంగ్వేజ్ క్లారిటీ లాస్ట్ టైం అనుకుందో ఇప్పుడు అనుకోండి.
Okay, sir.
కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ కొంచెం తగ్గినట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది.
I too don't know, sir. Voice కూడా కాస్త ఎందుకో లోగా వస్తుంది, సార్. I tried in between ఇంక్రీజ్ చేయడానికి, but I don't know.
Otherwise, body language, knowledge and presentation, everything was good. So maybe you need to.
Yes, sir. Sure. చూస్తాను, సార్. Why sure.
Personal you can work on.
Sure.
You were not maintaining eye contact and smile was missing entirely, as sir said. Smile was entirely missing.
Okay, sir.
Very serious going on. Last time I think you just walked in and
Yes, sir.
gave the
Yes,
interview.
Waiting has made you to feel that sad.
I don't know, sir. This is the first time I'm coming in full formal dress. Maybe that might be one of the reason.
Okay.
Last time.
See, what happened in my first interview was my tie was very good.
Oh, yes, sir. That is also
I
an issue for
became
me.
slightly conscious of it when I entered the interview. Okay. So I realized that I was being choked.
Okay.
నేను ఎంత అంటే మధ్యలో
Yes,
గ్యాప్
sir.
ఉండకూడదు అని చెప్పి ఎంత టైట్ కట్టుకున్నానంటే ప్రాక్టికలీ
Sure.
చోకింగ్ లాగా అనిపించింది.
Yes, sir.
బికాజ్ ఆల్రెడీ వీ ఫీల్ నర్వస్.
Yes, sir.
దానిపైన ఇది ఉంటే సో యూ కెన్ మేక్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ కంఫర్టబుల్. సో
Sure,
ఇది
sir.
ఆల్మోస్ట్ లైక్ యువర్ డ్రెస్ రిహార్సల్ కాబట్టి.
Yes, sir.
So you can make yourself comfortable whatever dress you are wearing. Otherwise, there is no, given your whole profile, I won't find any reason the interview board being not interested in you. Interested in it, I would say you will be ranked among definitely manchi score vastund interview.
Okay,
So
sir.
don't, there is nothing, the whole profile you have built up so well with your hard work and everything, the percentages that you got, nothing to worry. So
Sure, sir.
just work on those aspects.
So Ramakanth,
Sir.
everything is fine, but please continue your smile
Sure, sir.
throughout your interview. And second, from your working experience, whatever you said is right. So everything is good, knowledge is perfect, but be cool,
Sure,
calm,
sir.
and confident with smile.
Sure, sir.
కొద్దిగా ఐ కాంటాక్ట్
Sure, sir. I think I will look into it.
సబ్జెక్ట్ వైజ్
Okay, sir.
Last time you had that raw confidence.
interacting with
People.
people, I think you need to refresh it, or because everybody will interact. What is so special about, I
Interact.
wanted to ask, but the time is
And
running.
your hobby is interacting with people.
Yes, sir.
So the people, that's where, how you special, because everyone interacts.
Yes, sir.
So do you make special, effort to interact with people? As Kiran asked you,
Yes, sir.
you met this, tribal, some interesting people. If you make an habit of interacting with really who are deserve, then people may appreciate. But otherwise,
Yes, sir.
meeting friends, talking to them, take it.
Yes, it is okay.
చాలా మంది ఇప్పటికే ముగ్గురు ఐఐటి ఢిల్లీ నుంచి వచ్చారు.
అవును.
ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ఎస్ఎస్ పెట్టారు.
Yes, sir.
సో అక్కడ ఏం చేశారు ఏంటి అనేది కొంచెం
Sure.
అర్థం చేసుకుని కొంచెం ఇచ్చేస్తే బాగుంటుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఐఎమ్ షూర్ అట్లీస్ట్ 10 to 15 మెంబర్స్ ఐఐటి ఢిల్లీ
Yes, sir. వస్తారు.
అందరూ రాశారు. ఇక్కడే ముగ్గురు రాశారు.
Yes, sir.
నేను కూడా ఇంతకుముందు వచ్చిన తరగతి రాశారు. సో
Sure, sir. I will look into it.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.